first sponsor today, Allera, is helping food companies rethink how food safety and quality systems actually function. They are using AI to simplify procedures, strengthen compliance, and help teams understand and follow the standards that protect our food supply. When systems work better, leaders can focus on what matters most: developing people, supporting teams, and protecting the integrity of the food we produce.
Yes. So please join us in welcoming Paddy McNamara from Allera. Hello, Paddy.
Hey, everyone. So excited to be here. Thanks for having me, and excited to, that was fun to follow up. I'm excited to be at the end of the day when everyone feels light in leadership and has all these, practical ways to apply everything. Well, yeah, nice to meet everyone. My name is Paddy McNamara. I'm the founder at Allera, and I founded Allera after almost dying to an allergic reaction to food. And it just clued me into food safety, quality, and realized that just wanted to help food manufacturers spend more time on food safety problems rather than on paperwork and documentation problems. Yeah. So I will add in my screen here. I think I'm sharing, Lena, if you could throw that in. Perfect. Well, yeah, we're excited to use this time today. I know it's in between sessions a little bit, but this is not the time to run to the bathroom or grab a coffee, because in just 15 minutes, we're going to have some really practical takeaways for you all of how to use AI in food manufacturing. So we did our quick intros here. Really what we're going to cover today is just share as a group about AI practices that you guys are using currently, or maybe that you want to be using. Talk about some of the core ways that AI does add value. We're going to share a little bit of how Allera uses AI in our platform. And then at the end, we're going to do a little dream session about how AI can maybe work with you guys all and make your lives easier, and then do some questions and wrap up. So with that, I will go ahead and kick off with, this is a poll we did a couple months ago, basically asking how often do food safety, food manufacturing employees use AI? And we were really blown away by these responses, because every single day, 20% of people use it, and then 45%, they never use it at all. And just that gap really blew my mind. So maybe as we start, I'd love to start by asking in the chat, how are you guys using AI today? And then while answers are coming in, Jill, would love to hear, or Tia, from you, how do you all use it? Maybe how do some of your clients, are you seeing them use it as well? And then we can, as chats come in, we can show those on the screen as well.
Yeah, a lot of our clients are some people that I've talked to that use AI. They use it a lot for content on how to, when I think about culture, on how do they make culture exciting? What are some ideas around communication, how to communicate, what makes it effective? And then I would say a second part of using AI is their data. How do they train their data? How do they look at their data? How do they use their data to be more proactive?
Yeah, that's awesome. And see, definitely some of that here. It looked like, oops, there's so many comments. I lost it here, but people were saying optimizing programs and systems, support our message. Megan said that. Those are great. Jill, what about you?
Well, I'm curious about, I saw Notebook LM. Sherelle, I need to know more. What is that? It's really fascinating. I think the only limitations on where we can use AI as a tool is what we can imagine. Mm-hmm. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were like, can you imagine we could use it for things even like trailer inspections? And that kind of blew my mind, because I was like, yeah, something that we require a human to go do. There are some other things that we can do to help with consistency and streamlining. So even actual things we're doing where we can potentially use it is incredible. But of course, I'm also a fan of just how do we get more information and use it as a tool for all the things that are out here, how to get the things that we really need closer to us to make it easier for filtering too.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great. And I was going to also have, because I think there's a million AI tools out there, but I would love to hear, some of you guys already said Claude, Notebook LM, would love to hear if you guys are using tools, throw it in the chat and say, hey, this is what you're using. This is what we use it for. Just because then it gives people some threads to dig into after the day and explore. But we see kind of, Jill, to you touched on it. There are lots of ways to apply AI. We see three main buckets where there's a lot of value for food manufacturing. The first one is decision support. So the example here is like, give me ideas on how to improve food safety culture. And you can pull up, brainstorming. You can pull like the latest leadership data that you want to talk about, and really just gathering data. And so bring it all together so you can make the best decisions. That's one way. The second one, Tia, you had mentioned, is data organization consumption. AI can like ingest and spit out more data than has ever been humanly possible. I'm talking like tens of thousands of records in minutes. And so one example with that would be like, maybe your team is using an ERP system, quality management system, QuickBooks, a warehouse management system. AI is a tool that can collect data from those places, pull them all together, and really bring to life new data that has been siloed traditionally. And then the last one is automating repetitive tasks. So this, for example, Jill, you said like looking at shipping, receiving from a visual standpoint. Another example is like I talked to somebody, they said they spend 10 hours a week looking at one COA, making sure it matches the spec. That's another thing that is, AI is great for, to do that repetitive work. Something I use it for is I have an agent that will every day scan all the articles that have been posted around food safety, and then it'll give me the top 5 each day. And so instead of me having to research, it just pulls them to me. So
nice.
Those are like some very practical ways to apply AI. And maybe I'll pause there. Any thoughts, people in the audience, on like, you're like, hey, yeah, this is how we're doing it, or maybe some other ways. Otherwise, I'll show in a second here how Allera kind of fulfills each of these in our system.
Mm-hmm.
I see Judith is on with us, so I'm curious because I know she does a lot of work support in AI and kind of navigating through that. So
great.
I also see a couple questions in here that we're going to be coming back to, so I'm going to grab those so that we can include those later.
Awesome. That sounds great. Then I will go ahead and share my screen here. So this is Allera's platform. So we're a quality management system for food manufacturers focused on helping companies to go digital, automate supplier management, and then trend data on the analytics side. And this here is our document management module for storing SOPs and doing training all under one roof. So I'll kind of show here just how we fulfill those three things. So the first one is just decision support. This is a tool we have where your operators, your teams can ask questions and then basically pull data directly from your SOPs. Maybe traditionally operators don't have the most up-to-date versions, or they're new and they have a question. So this is like, hey, whose responsibility is it for sanitation? And then it'll pull directly from your documentation to say, this is what the QA tech does. This is what production's in charge of. This is what the manager's in charge of. And so that's more of that decision support bucket where you're like gathering as much information as you can to make a more informed decision. So that's the first bucket. The second one is actually more on the ingestion and consumption side. So if you guys have hundreds, thousands of SOPs across corporations, as well as local, regional, national, international standards that you have to adhere to, you're talking about hundreds of documents, thousands of pages of regulatory code. That's just something that not one person can stay on top of. So this is an example of our system ingesting both of those and then actually highlighting any compliance gaps. So here you're seeing your SOPs tied to SQF code. So this is an example saying like, hey, you're saying use potable water. SQF 1154 is saying, you need to be more specific about the water standards that you guys are adhering to. And then the last one is just more on the repetitive task side. Our system will read your SOPs and write quizzes based on them. So it'll say, hey, here's your sanitation SOP. This is a quiz that it generated. Looks like it was just 8 questions. And you can make changes as needed. But it's really just reading it, spitting it out. You can make some tweaks. So the goal is that it does 90% of the the tedious work, and then you can kind of add the human touch and fine tune it.
That is awesome.
I know Tia's back there like, that's what Jill likes to do. Like,
yes, I love that. And it looks relatively easy to use too. Just the interface seems very intuitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely our goal, is easy to use, easy to implement.
So Patty, one of the questions that came up in the audience, and I know it's on people's mind quite a bit, because AI feels open, what are protections around it when we're using it? And the question specifically from Cortland was around trade secrets. But I think that the security part kind of applies in general to things as well.
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say, first of all, you should definitely ask your IT team, because maybe what we do as on a personal basis is going to be different than what our organizations want. But I would say normally how businesses approach it is any system, anything you're putting into AI will belong to the company, and won't be used to train those larger models if you're in like a business environment. That's how like Claude, ChatGPT work, where you're kind of paying for added privacy. But at the end of the day, you're also trusting wider systems that are moving really fast. And so I think you just kind of have to, I think the most important thing is to make sure you're educated on what you're putting into the system, where it's accessed. Yeah, but that's a great question.
Yeah, and I like how you talked about like just connecting with your IT department, because if they don't have any rules around AI, what to feed it, right, how it works within their system, they should, because AI is definitely taking off, and people are using it, whether it's embedded in their company or not. People are using it, so there should be some guidance around that. And just coming from food safety, I know that that's something that's important to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in food where like your recipes are trade secrets, there's a lot of proprietary data. You want to make sure that you're taking care of those.
Yes. Patty, here's another one that I just saw come up from Sam. I think I can actually even show it. Does Allera categorize data and SOPs based on department?
Yeah. So when you set it up, you can organize it by maintenance, by quality. Teams also use us for like, hey, this is the data our co-mans have access to, but they don't see everything else. And then there's also tiers around what an operator is going to see is going to be different from like the global VP, and they're kind of different access controls.
That's nice. It's a software that works no matter where you are, where you sit in the organization, and what level of access you need.
Yep, exactly. And great. I'll just, as we're kind of wrapping up, I was just would love to hear it in the chat. I don't know if you guys can see my screen here. I think there we go. Thanks, Lena. Would love to hear from you all. Like, what's your dream scenario for what AI can do for you? Maybe don't throw in the chat like laundry, dishes, mowing the lawn. Yeah, keep it to food manufacturing. But I think that's always great just to imagine like, hey, where is the world going? How can it streamline it so your guys' roles as leaders are lighter? Are more focused on the strategic work you want to be doing. I'm really excited to see kind of what people put in the chat there.
Yes.
And I know that we aren't able to get to all the questions today. So I did try to take a couple of screenshots. So I have those questions that we will send over to Paddy so that he can connect and we can go through, he can answer those with you all individually.
Yes.
So.
Ooh, Michelle, I want to create a food safety marketplace.
Love it. Jen, Heather, Tracy, Amy. Awesome.
Amy,
those are great things.
Supplier audit findings. Right? Yeah. Fantastic.
Yes.
Saving lives. Amazing. Well, great. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for having us. And thank you, Catalyst, for, of course, having us for the event today. We're really glad to be part of it. And it's going to be a great day.
Well, Paddy, we are so grateful for you and the whole team at Allera for being here, being a sponsor, and also taking this time to share kind of how technology, AI, because there's so many questions around it, like how is it helping food companies just really simplify kind of the complexity of the work that we do in these systems. I think even as we came into this, we said when systems work better, that gives us time as leaders to focus on what really matters. And that's people and culture and protecting the food that we all produce.
We
Absolutely.
are so grateful for your partnership, Allera's partnership, and the work that you all are doing to support teams across the industry. I know you have a personal story around it, and we are so grateful for what you're doing. So thank you.
Yes.
Love it. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.